Okay, welcome everyone. Thanks to everyone who watched my first video. I was surprised people were interested in watching someone tootling around delivering Uber Eats in Sheffield, but it's really nice that people watched that. This is the second time I've been doing this, and it's been a bit of a break between the first one and this second one, mainly because I haven't actually been going out very much. The weather has been pretty poor over the last few weeks, making it very difficult to easily go out and do this. I try not to go out when it's really raining heavily or the wind is really, really bad, otherwise you're just putting yourself in danger. Now, the other thing I discovered after my last video was that actually my rating on Uber Eats was quite low. I actually had a pretty poor satisfaction rating from customers, which came as a bit of a shock, to be honest with you, because I didn't think I'd done anything terribly wrong. And I kind of looked at the comments, which are pretty vague, and it just said, oh, accusation, or you maybe some kind of tampering with the food or something like that, which I've never done. And the only thing I can think of is that particularly in the first couple of weeks, I did a few McDonald's orders, which I was a bit reluctant to do because people have said you have really long waits there and the packaging is really poor and everything like that. So I did a few McDonald's orders, and I really wasn't that well prepared for how poorly designed some of the packaging is at McDonald's, and frankly I did spill a couple of the drinks and they spilt onto the food, and you could see there was a sort of a slight look of let's say unhappiness on their face when I delivered them. So I think I may have got a few bad ratings from that, and obviously if you're not doing that many deliveries, a few bad ratings tends to put your percentage down quite a bit. So yeah, it came as quite a shock, because you kind of think, well, it's a difficult job, as I've said in the previous video, but it's not that difficult, and I certainly don't think of myself as bad at doing it. And yet, here I was with this really poor performance rating, whereas most drivers have got 99, 98%, 97% for their performance. I had a really low, 74% or so. So, since then, I've really, on the few times I've gone out, I've really focused on trying to be a lot more careful with drinks, especially, and making sure nothing gets spilled, and being a bit more careful when I'm packaging it in the bag. And I bought a couple of extra little sort of mini thermal bags to go inside my bigger one, so that if I did have drinks from McDonald's especially, I could pop them inside that. Because the problem with especially when you're doing things like McDonald's is that everything's sealed, so they'll put the drinks inside a bag in a little kind of egg cup container to stop them from wobbling, but it's not great. I've made far fewer spillages in the last few weeks, and my rating's gone back up to hardly impressive, I think 84, 85% or something like that. It's still not the sort of thing that as a customer I would look at and feel inspired that this person's actually going to get my food to me on time, or all of the food or whatever, but alright, so it's just to give a bit of context, it is New Year's Eve, 31st of December, afternoonish time, just after midday. This might be a nice time to go out. Oh, there we go, we've got a first order in from the Street Food Chef, which is, I think, very close to here, actually. Alright, let's go. Yeah. It's just around the corner. Street Food Chef is kind of a burrito-y place. Thank you, mate. Cheers. Yeah, I think still as a fairly newish rider, I'm still struggling a bit in the wet weather. It's not so much the wet surfaces. So you do have to be quite careful going over things like manhole covers and stuff like that. It's really just sort of the rain on your helmet windshield and keeping that clean. I think there are special things you can put in your helmets to make it sort of defog or um, clear itself up a little bit, but I haven't done that yet. So I tend to just open up the visor just to let a bit of air in and try to clear it a little bit. And I've got sort of a little sort of microfiber cloth down here as well, which when I come to a traffic light or something, I'll quickly give it a rub just to clean up the visor. But it can make vision a little bit tricky at times. But here we are, we're coming towards well, if you kind of look to the left and right, I'm not sure you can see that very well, but this is a very posh part of Sheffield, lots of really big houses. You just kind of wonder what jobs people do right here. It always feels like kind of lawyers, doctors, businessmen, that kind of thing. It's one of the kind of places that makes you think, oh, you know, what choices did I make? Maybe I could have chosen a different career, but that's okay. Happy with what I've got. Sure, having lots of money brings its own problems as well. Can't for a minute think what those are, but you know, I'm sure they do. Okay, so the ones where they kind of you have to leave them at the door. After you've delivered, there's always that kind of moment like, okay, what do I do now? Where do I go? Do I just kind of hang around near where I just delivered, or do I go back to a spot where you're more likely to get something? Because the thing is, of course, there are restaurants everywhere, although more concentrated in certain parts of the city. And if you don't get another order, then it's like, okay, where do I go now? So I'm going to think just go back to roughly where I picked up the previous order, because that's got a lot of restaurants on that street. Lots of sort of curry houses and KFC and pizza places. So that may not be a bad place just to kind of position myself for orders. I do try to avoid the city centre as much as possible. I think just parking there is a real pain, even on a bike. And I think there is a few more concerns about safety and security with the bike there, because you know, basically, there's always plenty of drunk people in the city centre, and you know, when you're drunk, people do daft things, and you know, they could see an unusual looking bike and just decide, you know, let's get on that, or let's try and do something with that. Often not malicious, but still does concern me a bit. So I try to kind of stay a little bit outside of the centre. Though if I'm not getting anything and I get an order coming in the centre, then I will go there. It's pretty chilly today, pretty windy, pretty chilly. I feel it kind of whipping around. I don't know if you could perhaps hear it on the microphone, but yeah, not the best day to go out. Raining as well, but forces you to come to terms with your existence a little bit, and feeling the wind on your back and the rain in your face reminds us that we're alive. It's not bad to get out sometimes. Very easy to stay indoors and not move. I think if given the choice today, I probably would have just done that and vegetated on the couch. but decided to force myself out today, and I'm just curious really to see how busy it was on this day. And make some money, of course. That's the prime reason for doing this. There's no higher philosophical reason for being an Uber Eats driver other than making cash. But yeah, coming back to the previous order, um, you do get quite a few who ask you to leave the order at the door. And obviously there are many reasons why people do that. These kind of delivery services are good for people who feel, less comfortable going out the house, people with, um, certain social anxieties, certain phobias, and that certainly seems to be the case. Quite a few of the places that you deliver to. Sometimes you'll kind of catch the person as you're leaving, getting the order, and you can see they're often quite kind of nervous sort of coming out and picking it up, and there may just be people who find it difficult to go outside and go to restaurants, pick up food themselves, and just prefer to do everything from their home, and fair play to them. These services do offer them something that enables that. So the question is whether we should enable that is another issue, not one for me to worry about, but yeah, I still think it can serve a sort of a social purpose, these delivery services. Right, we've had no more orders coming yet, so it's been, I'd say, 20-25 minutes since I've been out. One order, £4 something or other, can't remember what it was. So again, don't think I'm going to be retiring to that villa in Spain or that retreat in the Seychelles just yet. I just saw another guy come past on a moped there. I do try to kind of nod at other people on motorbikes, and most of them do. The same as if I see any other delivery drivers or riders, and I try to nod. So you get about a 50% response rate to that, which is not bad. I expect everyone to be overjoyed to acknowledge another person doing the same job. But nice if you can create a vague community. Right, so I come down. This is normally where I stop off. This is just a little car park. Normally lots of free spaces here. And I can just park myself here and wait for the next orders to come in. Let's just go in here. Okay, great. Just got an order in from Dunkin' Donuts, which is literally just over there on the bike, and that's £5 for about 2 miles, which is actually pretty good. So let's go in there and pick this up. Iced latte. Okay, this is going to be one with the drink, so I'm going to have to be careful. Oh, that's a drink, isn't it? Nice latte. Okay, so this is a double order. Dunkin' Donuts and the Co-op. You can see I'm a bit nervous whenever they give me drinks. For the same reason I mentioned earlier about possibly spilling them. Dunkin' seems to be pretty good. One, their drinks tend to be kind of ice drinks a lot of the time, so quite thick and less likely to spill. I think they tend to pack them a little bit better. It's probably something they do a lot rather than being an afterthought. You know, it's coffee and donuts there, so I think they work hard to make sure that their drinks are not easily spillable in the bags. You seem to pack them quite well, and then you can put that bag quite nicely into your thermal bag, and it works fine. I think the other thing I have to be careful about is putting the bag on my back. I think often what happened was when I kind of lifted it up and sort of swung it around, that's when the drinks sloshed around in the bag and got spilled. So okay, looks like this is going to a student residence, so there clearly are students still hanging about here. Not quite sure where this one is though. It's quite tricky because it's a huge sort of residential campus here. There's your Dunkin' Donuts order. There's your co-op. Happy New Year. Okay. So that's three deliveries done. 45 minutes, £9. I would say that's pretty standard for Uber Eats. Some days it gets a bit busier. Other times it doesn't. But I'll now go back to where I was sat before in the car park and see what other orders come in. Like I said, it's a good place near Dunkin', near KFC, lots of other restaurants nearby. But you never know, on the way we might get another order picked up. So it goes. Okay. Got another order coming in from the Street Food Chef, which was the place I got the first order from. So it seems pretty popular today. I think my basic goal in terms of earnings is to come out for about 2 to 3 hours and earn somewhere between sort of 26 to 40 pounds. I think if you do a couple of hours, then 26, 27 pounds is reasonable. If you edge up to 3 hours, then 40 pounds isn't unheard of. So you are looking at sort of 13 pounds an hour, and if I do that, I feel it's not bad. But if it's any less than that, it does feel a bit sub minimum wage at that point. Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot. Yeah, have a good one. Okay, another short order. Couple of orders here. Again, about 3 miles for this one, and £6. So I think this one's going to take about, I reckon about 15 minutes if we do 2 of them. And that will bring us up to about, I'd say about £15 for the hour, which is not too bad at all. I don't complain when you get £15 for the hour. I think doing this has helped me appreciate just what a pretty place Sheffield can actually be, particularly around certain parts, like around here. It's a really lovely looking place. You've got a beautiful sort of botanical gardens there on the right. Not sure if that's visible on the camera, but if you can see it, that's really nice. Just the housing in this area is really pleasant. Of course, there are more run-down areas of the city. This has helped me appreciate a bit more just the variety of Sheffield, the beauty of Sheffield. Helped me learn a lot about the different Did you order the street? I was trying to work out whether this was a flat round the back or something. Okay, there you go, Sarah. Enjoy. Oh, sorry, mate. I wasn't sure I was banging on the side one. There you go. Cheers. Okay. Lots of orders coming in. So it is quite busy today. As I thought it might be on New Year's Eve. So anyway, yeah, I did get an order from, I think it's a Middle Eastern restaurant, and it was like £7, which looked quite promising. But then it was like 6 miles, so which is a terrible ratio, really. It's like £1 a mile. So I think you do need to kind of reject those, just to make sure that that's not setting a precedent for orders in the future. I'm not sure if that affects how much they offer in the future. But that kind of ratio, that kind of amount is really not worth it. So I've got another one coming from Subway just after that, which was like £4 for a couple of miles, which is more reasonable. How long? Okay. Okay, okay. I'll come back in a few minutes, okay? I'll be back in a sec. No, it's okay. There's only one person here today. Seem overworked. Oh, mate. How are you? Where'd you move it to? Where did you move it to, the bike? Over the other side, yeah. Yeah, mine's over behind that side, yeah. How long have you been out today? How long have you been to live?
I work from 8 o'clock.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I finished near the port.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Happy New Year. See ya. Yeah, you too. Obviously it's not great to have like a 10-15 minute wait in a place like that, but you can see they were understaffed and the poor girl was going as fast as she could, so in that situation you just, you know, deal with it and wait the time. There's no point harassing people for this kind of thing. She was working as hard as she could. I'm sure there was probably someone else who should have been there with her but didn't turn up or something like that. But she was really sweet and apologetic about it. So yeah, you do see occasionally incidents where the delivery driver gets a bit short with the serving person. There's a McDonald's where one got really shouty with this quite young girl who's working there, and in the end, you know, unless they're being deliberately slow, most of the time it's really not their fault. They can only process the orders as quickly as they can, and so there's no point getting angry with them if they're late or seems like they're taking a long time, because like I said, most of the time it's rarely their fault. I think my battery's probably going to run out pretty soon, so I don't think I'll stay out too much longer. Maybe stay out an hour or so more, but I'll let you know. I don't think I've got a spare battery today, so I'll let you know how much I made in the time. See whether I did hit a kind of average of about £13-14 an hour.